Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator tables video. My name is John. I'll be taking you through the charts this Wednesday the 4th of January. Here you can see we have the live currency strength indicator tables in front of us, and you can see that we have two types of tables. We have the trend traders table and we have the day traders table. These are showing the same studies but just highlighting different time frames. So our trend traders is our higher time frame and the day traders is our lower time frame. You can see here some of the currencies are highlighted in green. That shows there is a confluence between those two trading time frames, and that's where we'll be focusing some of our attention in these videos. Now the tables auto update every 15 minutes 24/7, so wherever you are you can access these tables at any point and get the latest update. So for me today, I'm accessing this in the afternoon, and you can see that what the trend traders table is showing us is that the yen is the strongest currency, followed by the Australian dollar as the second strongest currency, followed by the Swiss franc as the third strongest currency. We have pound as the weakest currency as W1, followed by the New Zealand dollar as the second weakest currency at W2, followed by the US dollar as the third weakest currency. On the day trader side of things, Aussie tops the table at S1, followed by the yen at S2, followed by the New Zealand dollar at S3. W1 is the euro, followed by W2, the Swiss franc, and then followed by the US dollar as the third weakest currency. You can see here Kiwi and Swiss appear on both charts, but they're not highlighted in green. That's because they're on opposite sides of the table. So basically, for instance, you can see trend traders Kiwi is W2, so it's showing us that it is the second weakest currency, but from a day trading standpoint it is the third strongest currency, basically meaning that if you are looking for that Kiwi weakness, maybe we're having a pullback at the moment and we're seeing buying instead of the longer term selling opportunity. Now in today's video I'm actually going to focus on the euro versus the yen, and we'll have a little look at some opportunities around that. I also quite like Euro Aussie, which tops the day traders. Now the reason why I'm focusing on euro is because it's W1 on our day traders, which may mean it might start appearing on this side of the table soon enough. And plus, when you look at the charts, you'll soon see the reason why we're looking at those two markets in particular. So I'm going to kick it off with Euro Yen, and then we'll jump over to Euro. So make sure you stick around for that. So jumping into Euro Yen, very clean chart here. We can see that the technicals here, especially for this monthly time frame, are very clear and obvious to us. We can see that price rallied into the 148.50 handle, which was also the top of this monthly channel, and we started to sell off back into the low of the bullish channel, and price has proceeded to trade through that area. So that to me is a sign that sellers could be in control of this market, pushing price to the downside. And where could it push price to? Well, we've got a really nice support level coming in here at the 136 handle, where we had this previous high that formed in November 2017, and then you've got this low that most recently formed throughout sort of March and April 2022. So very clean levels to work with here. We've traded from the 148.50. Looks like we're coming down to the 136 handle from this higher time frame perspective. So if that's the case, can we look for opportunities to the downside on lower time frames? So if I just jump to a weekly time frame, we've got more confluence here, because you can see that clear breakout of that trend line support, as well as the fact that we've retested the trend line before closing back below a recently formed low at the 141 handle. Not only that, if I drop down to a daily time frame, you can see that we're trading below the 140.50 handle, which is the 200 moving average, and you can also see that we have a slight trend formation where price formed a high, a lower high, and a lower low, breaking through this low here. So trend situation is suggesting more downside to come into the market. We've got the 136 handle mapped out here as a potential target. We've got all this area up here which could act as resistance now. So if I actually jump down to an 8-hour time frame, you can see that I've actually highlighted around this 140 handle as an area for price to come and retest. The reason why I've done that is because we have multiple confluences at that point. First of all, we had a consolidation here. Okay, price trades out of that consolidation, rejects back up at the trend line resistance. Okay, we then traded down back through. We've retested that side once, continue to the downside. So I'm expecting another retest of this and a continuation. Now, the reason why I've drawn a zone is because we had a consolidation, as well as the fact that we've got a 140 level handle running through here. We have the 140 spot 50, which is the daily 200 moving average as well. So we've got a confluence within a zone, not necessarily just within one price in particular. So that to me is an area of interest for price. If price can come back up into that zone, we could expect maybe some selling to continue, with 136 being the targets. Now, if you don't feel like that could happen, obviously it may not happen. We may see price trade through it, continue to the upside. We may not see price even get there. What we may even see is price hold at this spike low down through here, which is around about the 138 spot 70 where price is at the moment. And you can see that if price was to hold there, maybe price would even continue down from that point. So you have to also take into consideration that we may not pull back into that zone. Now, the other chart of interest for us was Euro Aussie. Now, the reason why I like Euro Aussie is more from the higher time frame perspective. So we've had quite an aggressive drop to the downside. If I just bring this back, you can see that it tops our trend traders table, but you can also see that Aussie is the second weakest on the trend traders as well. So we know it's weak. Now, the last time we talked about Euro Aussie was longs down at 153, one spot 53.50 back on the 10th of November. So if you manage to look at any opportunities around these lows, around this point, at that given time, price actually rallied over 600 pips to the upside. So again, really nice healthy amount of pips there for when you see these currencies appear on the tables at key areas of support and resistance. Now, talking about key areas of support and resistance, I'll jump up to the monthly chart here on Euro Aussie. Again, a nice clean chart, and you can see that we have a really good sort of downward bearish channel forming here, where price has been within this bearish channel ever since forming the high back in October of 2020. You can see we've tested this high here, come down, retested the trend line again, come down and really found support down towards the 144 handle. Now price has come back up. We're rejecting around about the 158, as well as that trend line resistance in here. So that to me suggests that price could stay within the channel, and that could mean that price is now going to head back towards that 144 handle, especially if the euro does remain weak and the Australian dollar continues to strengthen. The only problem we've got is if I just jump to the weekly time frame, you can see that one spot 53.50 does remain a little bit of a sticking point for price, because we've had all this area in here where buyers have stepped back into the market, as well as the selling pressure that came from over in this area. So I think if you wanted to be the sort of long-term outlook trader here, and you would want to wait for price to clear this 153.50 before starting to see that sort of play out towards the 1 spot 44 handle. Alternatively, you could look within this area to look to trade down to the 153.50. So if I was to jump back up into the daily time frame, for instance, you could see around this sort of consolidation, price has traded to the downside. So maybe something around about the 156 handle here could offer you a resistance for price to trade to the downside. If I go to the 8-hour time frame, again, you can see that consolidation more clearly, and that is where that sort of recent selling pressure has entered the market, which has driven price to the downside. So for me, that's what I like to look at. I like to see where that selling pressure has come from. Can price come back, and can sellers defend their positions? Essentially, can they defend their option to sell at this point? If they do, then we could see a move down, like I said, to that 153, 1 spot 53.50 handle. A break below that could offer further trading opportunities to the downside. I'm going to leave it there. Remember, like I said, if you do have access to the tables, they auto update every 15 minutes, 24/7, so you can access them at any given point and get the latest update. Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.